sounds out of some of this shit. Alright. Cool, so audio works. Alright, so time to do this again. Share this on Tweltwer. Live weekly discussion stream. Should be it. There we go. Switch to live chat. And copy link. Where is that? And then Drilge. Everyone in my server. This could be a short one. We will see. Because it doesn't appear anybody is up. Either way, 'tis posted. So. Alright. I guess I'll get started with just some updates in case I am speaking to an empty room. So I've got some streams coming up, some interviews in some places that y'all probably want to see. I've also got quite a bit more content for Anarch Unity coming up. I've got quite a bit more coming on several other fronts, and I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, with very few exceptions, this week has been hella busy and oddly fucking complicated to get anything done in. So, been working hard on that. Looks like I have one viewer and one like. Feel free to sound off in the chat. But, yeah, I've been exhausted this week. I've been getting a bunch of preliminary shit done. I've been trying to make sure that I could have a bunch of baseline stuff done for quite a bit of things. And ultimately, there's some stuff that that I've been trying to actually like hammer out, like get done for once. That I've been needing to get off my plate for a long time. Also, I just checked, and it's been like 3/4 of a year. It has been 9 months since I messaged Larkin Rose about the money associated with the books. So I feel like at the very least soon, I should ask for a follow-up. I think that that's important. And I know his movie's been successful. Like, I think it has theatrical release at this point. So, you know, unless for some reason that was a box office bomb and a lot of the hype around it was just astroturfed, which would, you know, track within Liberty circles as somebody who is an officially credited IMDb guy fucking on libertarian projects. I can tell you that it's oftentimes hard to secure funding and also to get paid for that sort of thing. So, yeah, fucking, I don't know. It seems oddly quiet on that front, is what I'll say. In order to prevent this from getting too accusatory. But I will be asking for follow-ups relatively soon, because it's been literally most of a year. Like, once it gets like 3/4 of the year mark and you still haven't updated people, that's a problem. That's a real problem. Like, because this is, if I understand correctly, tens of thousands of dollars of investment. No, it's not small, to say the least. So it'll be interesting. And he also did a book deal recently, where he like offered both books, um, like Jones Plantation and Most Dangerous Superstition, for, what was it? It was like both books for 40, something like that, 20. I can't actually remember, but it was like a basically a twofer, and you got both, and they were signed. And like, it, if that doesn't, if that didn't help get a lot of people on board to buy, I don't know, I feel like maybe there's just not momentum at all, which would be concerning for those of those people who actually put money into it. Anyway, hello to concurrent viewers. Feel free to sound off in chat. Just talking about maybe needing to start a ruckus again. Who knows? Who knows? Like, it would be my first major ruckus of 2024. This time, though, like, every ruckus I get into, I need to document that shit. Every ruckus I get into, I need to document that shit. Take, like, screenshots, just gather evidence, all that shit. Because everything I do in that regard needs to be content ready. I need to be able to make things, regarding what I do, what I get into. So, if I do, I will definitely update y'all, because, you know, about any subject this year. Because one of the problems is that I will get into really fucking long social media arguments, and not make content as a result of the time I spent. But I could just be making content out of it, or instead of it. Instead, I'm just like, I'm giving Elon Musk all the attention on Twitter, or Mark Zuckerberg all of the attention on Facebook, and not really giving myself much of anything, comparatively speaking. So, yeah. I need to get better about all that shit, and I plan to. 2024 has to be better. It has to be. Let me get some water here. Hello to the 4 concurrent viewers, YouTube says I have. Yeah, hello Earth Nerd. The fear is that this becomes a drama channel. I don't want this to be that, although my commentary channel, Hate with Harding, will absolutely have drama-related content, so probably this one would just be like a channel to discuss some of that stuff more generally, while that would be a channel for long-form shit, like to directly be posted and consistently be there. Hello, Cold Highway. And thanks, by the way, for consistently sharing this stuff on Minds. Like, most people aren't willing to share my stuff at all, even if it's like, you know, a well thought out article, or, you know, a video essay that, like, took me a long time to compile and get involved with and research and shit. So the fact that you're consistently willing to share my stuff, is pretty big for that. So, thank you for that. I have 5 concurrent viewers. Feel free to sound off in chat. Well, now it says 3. Sometimes YouTube does that. It'll say that I have like a higher amount and then drop it. I think it's after whatever algorithm they have says that it's fucking less for some reason. I'm not exactly sure what reason that would be, but it's definitely there. But yeah, like 2024 is going to be a better year. Like I already have multiple articles out for Anarch Unity. There's a new one coming out tomorrow. Um, and there's a lot more coming out for that site. And I want there to be like a consistent flow of at least 3 pieces for that, at least 1 piece for Free Thought Project. I want to do a video a day, and I want to, do all of this like on a weekly basis. So, hello, hello. Think maybe you didn't want to go by that name, but hello, UV. Norp Horg Schlorpglem. So, I think 2024 is going to be an interesting year. There's a lot of potential because there's a lot of people who've been showing themselves for who they are. There's a lot of people who have been like um transparent this year, let's just say. And also generally speaking have been massive problems historically, but are really now showing themselves. Like a lot of the people in libertarian spaces who were like allegedly okay with other people's freedom even if it wasn't the lifestyle they chose are now being openly anti-LGBT or openly xenophobic, jingoistic, etc., as long as it's against the chosen target of the moment. Currently, like even though there are Jews for peace and anti-Zionist Jews, um, you're you're not gonna find a whole lot of space in libertarian circles for saying don't be anti-Jew, because these people a lot of the time ride a grift. They ride a grift, and they don't care that they're repeating history that has always turned out for statism and anti-freedom. They just care that they seem edgy and get the based retweets and funny number go up. So, it's pretty sad, you know, that liberty like I can't tell you how many people how many people have been posting this thing about like 5 libertarians out of the how many, right? Um and it's like one of them is Ayn Rand, and it's not even libertarian. One of them is Milton Friedman, who like was actively anti-libertarian on a variety of occasions. You know, they're saying that these people are all libertarians and that the people behind libertarianism are Jews and that some reason that makes it bad. It's like no. And also the original libertarians were not even right wing, but some of them were Jews, so they would still be like that about it. So it's asinine. It's asinine. Like, I oppose the state of Israel. I always will, because I oppose all states, and the state of Israel is an especially egregious one. But, like, let's be super clear. That doesn't mean that I don't like Jews. And the idea that I have to, or I'm somehow failing as a conspiracy theorist, or a truther, or a libertarian, or whatever, no. No, there are plenty of Jews that are fine. Not all Jews are on board with everything that your particular opposed group is. And it's the same kind of mentality, the exact same kind of mentality as the same right wingers who are normally very okay with saying I oppose Muslims, that Muslims are bad. It's the same shit. These people would not piss on a Muslim if they were on fire. But they're going to use the struggle of Palestinians to say that, it's the Jews. Because if they can use, like, the Islamic rage as a temporary bulwark against their chosen enemy, they'll do it. It's the same kind of thing where the American government, which has consistently abused the trust of the Arab world, used them in Operation Cyclone to, point them at Russia and say, the land to the north is yours, with Zbigniew Brzezinski at the fucking front of it. And Jimmy Carter being his innocent, perfect, fucking humanitarian self, funding the Mujahideen, arming and training terrorists and shit. And it's like, these people don't care about Islam. They don't care about advancing the will of Allah. They care about shitting on Jews. So they'll use the Palestinian struggle temporarily. They'll claim that Yemen shouldn't be bombed temporarily. But then they'll support Saudi Arabia, or they'll not talk about Saudi Arabia, because, like, if you start talking about the richest royal family on the planet, which is the House of Saud, you're going to start to have a lot more problems saying that the Jews control everything. Like, there was this fucking hack who was on an Alex Jones interview, and Alex rightly debated him in a few ways. But basically, one of the things that really stuck out to me is that this brother Nathaniel cunt said that Hitler wasn't bad because he couldn't have been bad because the kids loved him. Maybe some of them. Not all of them. Not the kids who come from classes he was oppressing. And the kids love him, so he's a good person. Using that same mentality, you could justify any groomer you wanted. The fact that somebody gets a bunch of kids on their side is not evidence that they're a good person. But this fucking loser has to make every edgy anti-Jew position and claim that Hitler was just doing things that were good for the economy. And pretend that the kids liking somebody means that they're somehow protected intellectually or spiritually or whatever. And that's like, it's the same with so many of these people. They'll just search for a justification. Like, oh yeah, the kids like him. The kids were groomed by Andrew Tate, were groomed by Epstein, were groomed by a variety of Catholic priests, were groomed by various Boy Scout leaders, by various public school officials, teachers, etc. Kids are impressionable. Using their opinions of somebody as a yardstick is fucking insane to me. But Brother Nathaniel did that. And so many people ate it up and said that he shredded Alex Jones. No, he didn't. I mean, I have my issues with Alex Jones, but Brother Nathaniel did not fucking shred him. Brother Nathaniel fucking propagandized for an hour. And people ate it up because he's anti-Jew. It's fucking exhausting. And it's the same kind of people that'll ignore Saudi Arabia. They'll ignore Chinese power. They'll ignore, like, every other state power except Israel in order to claim that Israel is the root of all evil. And it's fucking not. But here we go, Here we go down the fascist drain. And nobody is willing to be rational about it. With very few exceptions. Everybody's got to balkanize and choose their fucking side. And they're all fucking pre-manufactured sides. And I fucking hate the sides. The sides are not my friend. The sides are not the friend of liberty. The sides are two sides of the same coins. Two heads on the same beast. Always have been and always will be. And that's why the only real solution in any conflict between states is a no-state solution. But you're not going to hear that argument from people who want control over the state. So, yeah, fucking asinine. Anyway, my viewership dropped to 2, so me going on a rant against fucking basically Nazis has the same effect as always. People are just like, oh, Jeremiah on again about the Nazis. Fucking. And it's true. It's just like, one of the videos I'm gonna do, because I have to. Javier Milei is, you know, trending now constantly, and people are memeing the fuck out of it because Javier Milei, like, he went to the WEF, and somehow the fact that he didn't, like, the fact that he said their talking points was enough, right? It's okay. So I wrote these tweets here. He took the globalist position on Israel and Ukraine. He endorsed the fascism and Nazis of the Pinochet regime and others, appealed to nationalists, relied on populism, and now he claims to oppose all of that, and some people ate it up. Since then, he halved the peso value, allowed landlords to charge rent in US dollars, thus jacking up rent double, militarized police against protest, banned protest masks, and employed AI facial recognition to, like, sort of dragnet surveil protesters. And like, this is the libertarian hero. Fuck you. And so he says, this is how we come to the point where, by using different names or guises, a good deal of the generally accepted ideologies in most Western countries are collectivist variants, whether they proclaim to be openly communist, fascist, socialist, social democrats, national socialists, Christian democrats, neo-Keynesians, progressives, populists, nationalists, or globalists. Ultimately, there are no major differences. They all say that the state should steer all aspects of the lives of individuals. They all defend a model contrary to the one that led humanity to the most spectacular progress in its history. So, he fucking employed populism. He's a populist success story, according to fucking everyone, including people on his side. A sign that we can have a guy who gets it, who we, popularly elected, who's going to, like, reduce the power of the state and all this shit. People on his side believe this. Rothbard, somebody who he idolizes, wrote a platform that he's basically following for the populist right. He's a populist. He claims that he wants to reduce every trade partnership and be economically isolationist. He's a nationalist. He loved the dictatorship of Pinochet, and he said that after the disastrous regime of Allende, they turned it around. Pinochet worked with Nazis and behaved a lot like one. He has no problem with collectivism, in the sense that he has no problem with that which he labels as collectivism, in the sense that he has no problem with Nazis, with fascists, with dictatorial, authoritarian right-wingers. He has no problem with this. He is one. But fucking libertarians ate it up because he yelled about socialism at the WEF, and they think people who fly on jets to get wherever they go, private jets, are fucking communist. It's exhausting. It's exhausting, guys. It's exhausting, y'all. I'm exhausted. Hello, Valor. Sky, do you think Hitler was a grower or a shower? I think, I could make jokes about Hitler's small sausage if I wanted to. his keine Großwurst. Anyway, hello to Sind. Yeah, I'm just yelling about Milei because it's just so asinine. He goes to the WEF, he says what libertarians want to hear, and it doesn't matter that he's literally working the same sorts of anti-libertarian fucking platforms that everybody else does. He says socialism bad, and removes all nuance from discussions of different sorts of government societies, while being a fascist and endorsing fascism, and people eat it up because they're evil. So I'm fucking so exhausted. I'm so tired of this shit. And I'm so tired of all of these people pretending that this is what libertarianism looks like. It's not. It never will be. So, as usual, when I predict this sort of thing, because I do silly things like actually read the platform of the motherfucker I'm talking about, most of the people who called me wrong aren't willing to actually prove me wrong. So there's that. And they're very angry that I'm still saying it. Cold Highway says, I won't be surprised if we see a permanent, if there isn't one already, U.S. base in Argentina before his presidency is over. I seem to remember one. Let me see. I think, if I remember correctly, at least, base in Argentina. Yeah, okay. So, the U.S. reportedly has a base planned in the Argentinian city of Ushuaia on the Tierra del Fuego archipelago. Yeah, so it looks like they're planning on it. But, like, it looks like they've been planning on it for fucking... Also, the U.S. Southern Command has built a military base in Neuquén, a project approved since 2012, and temporarily halted in 2018 to local protests. Argentina to host U.S. military bases, that was in 2018. I need to... there. Fucking, I should have done that before the stream started, but I needed that to happen. That was obviously a problem. Rescind. I'm rewatching a 10-hour Bill Cooper talk from when Clinton was in office. Ah! You are beholding pale horses. Cold Highway. The USG wants to change things in Brazil, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Bolivia, and Mexico. Having a base in Argentina would help that. Yes, it would. And the fact that Argentina is literally planning the US dollar as its currency and like starting the infiltration by allowing certain sectors to charge their people in that money while having the value of the peso. Like, who wouldn't do that if you were a soulless fucking capitalist? Who wouldn't do that if you were just in it for the money, right? Who wouldn't, like, oh, well, the Argentinian peso is halved. I literally can't afford not to. He's forcing them. He's doing... Everybody should read Naomi Klein. But oh no, she's a Jew. I don't fucking care. She's right. Like, pretending that... So that's the thing. Like, right when people should be listening to more, like, actually libertarian aligned people, a lot of people are wanting to distract from that by saying they're Jews. It's exactly what happened with the rise of Hitler. But we're not supposed to look at that. Or the fact that the U.S. government and Ukraine were the two countries that have not accepted a UN resolution to condemn Nazism. And we're supposed to ignore all of this while the U.S. actively enables Ukraine and gives medals to Ukrainian Nazis and goes and calls them heroes and all this shit. We're supposed to ignore it because Jews. Fuck off, fascists. Nazi, fuck off. Ah, man. I'm very tired. Cold Highway says Gaddafi challenged the banksters and wanted to go back to some sort of sound money. Yeah, the Pan-African dinar. He wanted a Pan-African gold currency. And that when you say Pan-African, a lot of people don't know what that means. It means all of Africa, the continent, would be suddenly liberated from U.S. petrodollar rule and potentially able to oust Western-backed fucking like puppet governments and vassal states, and potentially able to oust all of the U.S. influence in the region, including AFRICOM, and potentially able to stop the U.S. from resource extraction and using those places as dumping grounds, and potentially able to stop the gradual transfer of resources to Western countries, including those in Europe, and potentially able to stop the wars that are consistently causing refugee crises from there. And, we can't have that because all this shit is helping the US build and maintain their empires. So, fucking Gaddafi says, I'm going to try for a Pan-African gold-backed currency and reject the petrodollar, and suddenly he has a knife up his ass. We're not supposed to think about this too closely. Bad dictator died, and don't think about how dictator-like much of the West is. Definitely, just stay in your lane. Fucking prole. That's why he was taken out, not out of human rights. Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine the US government and its allies claiming to care about human rights after all these fucking years. If they cared about human rights, they would stop funding to Israel immediately after it became clear that they were using white phosphorus. They don't give a shit about humanity. That's the reason they're building their spaceships. They don't give a fuck about humanity. They just want to, like, jet off in their escape pods. And in the meantime, while their escape pods are being built and tested so that the very rich and powerful who can afford the tickets will be able to do that, while they're testing all that, they're also building a surveillance infrastructure through Starlink. Like, they've privatized space exploration effectively so that they can build a massive capital grid up there, and so that they can get away with a lot more things than they otherwise would be able to, because there's a buffer between public action that is publicly accountable and auditable and shit, and private action that's like funded through the public through grants and like fucking loans and fucking regulatory credits and all this shit. So they can get away with more if it's Elon Musk doing it. They can say, no, this isn't the government doing it. This is just somebody the government really likes and that the government is using as a person who does surveillance infrastructure for them and helps the government launch satellites and helps the government manage government hardware. No, Amazon isn't part of the government. They just store the intelligence apparatus's data. No, they're not the government. They just assist with the infrastructure for the U.S. like logistics. No, the fucking drone racing league isn't part of the government. They're just directly affiliated with a bunch of drone manufacturers who are doing contracts with the government. And they're just totally not using the data from the drone racing league to improve their own drones and make their own capabilities higher. No, these AI companies aren't part of the state. They're just private AI companies that consistently get grants from and work with the US government so that the US government can have more advanced technology for its digital deception and Internet of Things campaigns and their hyper-enabled officers. No, they're not the government. There's a degree of separation so we can pretend they're not the same unit. Fucking bonkers. Cold Highway says Saddam, I believe, also wanted to sell oil in euros, which made him an enemy again all of a sudden. Yeah, right? They were they were helping erect statues and building shit in his honor and fucking the same with Tim Osman. They got to say that all these Mujahideen affiliated militants, they were all fucking fine until they needed a scapegoat for 9/11, which was absolutely not an inside job. Don't be a traitor. You know? So, yeah, I've got problems with the way all this shit is handled. It's such a fucking shame. I wish things could be different. I wish people could realize that this is all connected, that it's all different sides of the same coin, and that their preferred state isn't any better. But that's probably not gonna happen. At least not soon. So, yeah, Argentina's a fucking op. Argentina is a fucking op. Javier Milei is an op. Javier Milei serves the same functional purpose as Volodymyr Zelensky. That's the reason both are getting the same treatment by the West, because they're both arms of Western power. Plain and simple. That's the reason Bibi Netanyahu still gets to fucking replenish his stockpile of Western arms. That's the reason Israel still gets, fucking billions of dollars in American assistance, even though the death toll is pretty lopsided at this point, even in this isolated conflict. And even though it was already massively lopsided, they've picked a side. Israel is better for their vassal state purposes. Palestine might get in the way by saying these people should be able to, determine their own destiny. Literally, mandatory Palestine was a result of the Western, Zionist thing of we're going to block you from the independence we promised you. And hey, now this is going to be controlled by Britain and not fucking the Palestinians. Not the Arabs that had helped them repel the Ottoman Empire. Sykes-Picot and McMahon Hussein. Look them up. This is real shit. I'm not making this up. So they'll just build whatever vassals they need in the region, cut down anyone who gets in the way, and claim that they're doing it for freedom or fucking independence or whatever, or, it's never for oil, it's never for opium, it's never for metals, it's never for jewels, it's never for fucking, anything but freedom and stopping the spread of bad ideas and terror commies. Fucking, it's all the same shit, And that's the thing. That's the reason I don't consider any of these entities not part of the state. I don't think that this is anything less than state capitalism. This is state capitalism. And a lot of people get upset with me on both the left and the right with that, because the left, they love state capitalism because, to the state left anyway. The left loves state capitalism if they're authoritarian left. The right loves state capitalism if they're authoritarian right. And both of them want to pretend that they're as far apart as possible. But they're not. Because they're both using different forms of the same authoritarianism, the same model of it. They don't give a shit about freedom. And capitalism is not inherently synonymous with free markets, no matter what anybody who relies on AI to have an argument online says. That's a callback for those of you who were there for that. We have just, Rothbard put it perfectly. And so did all of the fucking authoritarian communist dictators who said literally that we are going to use that. But when you say that, the left has to come to account with the fact that they are in fact not that much better when the rubber meets the road. So, like, I mean, there are a lot of leftists who are actually anarchists. Good for them. But, like, when you come down to it and you tell them that Lenin was specifically saying that the economy was not that much different under them than it was before, and when you got Mao saying he's going to use state capitalism as a way to get, fucking a transition to a commie society, when you got Bakunin, anarcho-communist originalist, saying that it's state capitalism, that it's just a new type of capitalism that's in fact probably more authoritarian because it's the people's stick now so they can get away with more, rhetorically speaking. When you've got, all of that, and then Rothbard comes out of the blue, capitalist extraordinaire, right-wing motherfucker, affiliated with a bunch of right-wing think tanks and pro-capitalist fucking institutions, saying that state capitalism is the problem, and that if we are going to have anarcho-capitalism, we should differentiate between free market capitalism and state capitalism, and throw the latter out. When you get Emma Goldman, Bakunin, and Rothbard on the same page, and when it uses a similar enough framework to that which Mao Zedong and Lenin agreed was basically being implemented, and when all of these people are saying that that's what this is, and that, fucking, even though they disagree on whether or not it should be that way, that that's definitely what it is, that's when you shut the fuck up and admit that this is all state capitalism. Because it is. And because the state, in fact, includes the capital apparatuses. Like, the state is a group of people that deems themselves the controllers of a geographical or, fucking taxonomic region, right? The state is a gang that determines its monopoly on the legitimate use of force in a region or over a people. I don't care if they are affiliated with the official central institution so much so that they have a badge or that they have official watermarked shit affiliated with the actual offices of the people who call themselves the state. If they participate in and benefit from the control matrix, they're part of the state. They are the state. So if fucking Walmart employs, like, the state in certain regions to procure resources and to open up, like, shops that build the things, that make the things, produce the goods that they can then put in their market for cheap as fuck, then Walmart is part of the state. Because they will help in the enforcement of these product lines and this control, and they will make sure that that stays protected. And they will hire literal local cops. If you ever see a cop in front of a Walmart, chances are that the Walmart itself has contracted with the literal police department and has contracts with these cops to be there and protect Walmart's private property. That is the relationship that many of these mega corporations have with direct officers of the state. And if you do that, if you exist because state-affiliated entities are the producers and shippers of your products, and if you then get protection from that state in the form of policing to maintain your products and property, if, for instance, your global trade operation relies on commercial shipping through bodies of water that could potentially be targeted by the Houthis, then you're part of the state if the state is then going to respond by bombing a country over it. Say what you want, But if your backup is not your own personal group of people trying to go against the state's monopoly on violence, if your first and only go-to is, we're going to call the international cops and have you bombed, have your country bombed, it just might be that you're a part of the state. If you rely on an international fucking shipping arrangement so that you can, like, have your goods and services to begin with, cheap as fuck as they are, if you rely on depressing certain economies until the only option in town in terms of jobs is to work at a sweatshop that is producing goods for, like, these companies, you're a part of the state. You're the people who make the state's work profitable. You're part of their economic matrix and their matrix of control. So when these people want to act like we don't live in state capitalism, like the market isn't directly unfree, like we somehow have a free market because certain people in that market are freer than others, those people are fucking stupid. And, like, that's true on both the left and the right. They both make that argument, and it's dumb. And does not interface with reality at all. It does not reflect material conditions on the ground. It is not demand side. It does not comport with leftist theories of economic value or the economic calculation problem. It does not comport with any consistent and rigorous investigation of any economic or catalactic model. It doesn't work to say that they're not just agents of the state. They are. And I'm not reading a script either. I'm just delusionally rambling to nobody because nobody's chatting, so I might just be alienating my audience here. But, like, this is... I'm very passionate about this subject because all they have to do is add the word free or labeling or pretend that they oppose commies or something like that and push the right buttons and they'll get the right people in and they can have the right funding and they can have the right power and they can just keep getting away with it because they relabel, they move the goalposts, they propagandize, they raise the next generation in their fucking government brainwashing facilities to think this is the way it ought to be. Shit! It sucks! And then, like, the left and the right, like, so many people are so fucking married to their fucking indoctrination that they will stick with these definitions that fundamentally help secure their chains. Even if the left and the right would be freer if they just realized who is the state and that it's not just people with badges or gavels or fucking uniforms with camo on them. Some state uniforms are corporate uniforms. Some state uniforms are suits that stockbrokers and bankers wear. Some state uniforms are fucking labels and badges and official seals. It's all the same shit. It's not different. And claiming it is while all these people are contributing to the fucking control mechanisms is fucking exhausting. I'm exhausted. I'm fucking tired of all this shit. So, you know, yeah, that. Anyway, yes, it looks like I have 2 people left listening. But yeah. Anyway, fucking, I got about 10 minutes left in this, and I'm gonna go do my workout. If there's anything anybody else would like to bring up, feel free to type it in the chat. Let me get some water here. Sky says it says 4 here. Well, that's good to hear. Yeah, I think YouTube sometimes wants to gaslight me. I think YouTube sometimes wants me to think that I'm not doing as well as I am. If they can demoralize a group of people, if the state can demoralize a group of people through deception and propaganda campaigns, then they can get people to believe whatever they want or to become disinterested in the actual like revolutions or insurrections or whatever action they might be taking against the state. It's that old line from fucking Rage Against the Machine. Fucking look at what the billboards say. Come and play, come and play. Forget about the movement. Wants to keep us suppressed, wants to keep us angry with non existent shit and fighting each other and fucking psyched out. So it wouldn't surprise me if YouTube is also suppressing my numbers, but whatever. It be one of them things. I just got a fucking friend request from some guy named Andy Bran. Who's this guy? This guy's got a very white profile picture. Oh, he's an Amash guy. Yeah, he's probably fine then. See if he's open to a bunch of conversations about radical anti-state action. So, anyway, if y'all want to bring something up that you want me to discuss, I am still here. Goal this week. I want to put out at least 3 pieces for anarchunity.com. I want to put out one for Free Thought Project. I want to put out a video a day. And I want to do all of this while ideally I got to get 100 by like basically Tuesday. And I got to get fucking 400 more by the end of the month. So I'm going to try to earn y'all's support and I'm going to try to make it worth it. I might VC Sky. I might pop in there. Like I'll be working out while I do it though. Yeah, actually, I can say that I'll be in my Discord. I'll do some VC in during my workout. So I'll be earning whatever I can. That's my goal over the next week. Cause I got some things that I gotta get going. Oh, also, I want to start putting out actual music. I've been really fucking with Mixcraft. I've been really fucking with this software and seeing what I can do. I think I can produce fucking masterpieces with that. Because I've got my keyboard right over there. It's like my professional keyboard that I haven't really been using for many years. I've got my keyboard right over there. That's all you really... You can do it on a normal keyboard. So, I'll be trying to put out a song relatively soon, just to test, just to see if people like what I'm putting down. So, I'll be starting a music channel. So, when I start that music channel, I will let y'all know. Also, I'm going to start using my professional graphics tab to do art. I'm going to open an art channel. I want to improve artistically this year. It's like I don't really do New Year's resolutions that well because I have a habit of making plans and then not following through. It's something I need to work on, but I'm going to start like trying to actually concretely bash something out every day. That's going to be on my goals list. So, keep an eye out for music and art. But basically, that's my goals list. Gonna try to earn what I can relatively soon, get what I need, and do all of this so that through February I have all the resources I need to make shit happen. I I tried PayPal paying for and in order to pay my hosting, and it appears to work like shit. Because basically I needed like fucking uh what was it, like $65 for my hosting for my personal website. Um and like I needed food as well. So, yeah, enjoy your dinner, Ascend. Be well. So I did the paying for, and it did not work. Like, for some reason, I sent enough money into my bank to make sure that it would work, and it did not. So I'm gonna have to contact PayPal about that. But basically, I'd like to just pay that off. So I'm gonna be doing that this week. And also, I gotta get the last bit of January rent since I worked off most of it for the landlord. So I'll be doing all that. That's my transparency report. I want to be as absolutely transparent and straightforward with people this year as possible. Everything I do is going to be vaguely public. And I'm going to be trying to keep people apprised on a routine basis so that they know where their money is going and so that they know it's going to a good place. So, with that in mind, expect tomorrow more content. I've been working on a piece against Elon Musk's anti-immigration racist bullshit that he's been pushing. So expect that, because it's wild. It is wild and nearly dizzying how dishonest he is about this, and how dishonest he and his fucking data guy are about the numbers and what they're from and how they're being interpreted, what they're being used for. So I'm breaking down a whole lot of numbers and going over a whole lot of things that he and this person are doing wrong in order to incite fear of Mexicans, in order to incite fear of the other. Because fascists rely on that shit. They rely on people fighting each other instead of fighting these motherfuckers. So, if we can get past that, if we can get past this fucking bickering, this fighting on the ground, pointing barrels at each other, maybe we can start pointing things upward at the ivory towers. Because we're not there yet. That's why I launched Anarch Unity the other week. That's why I'm going to be posting hella content for that. So, it's going to be an exhausting year. But it should also be a year that I get a lot done, because I'm kind of gloves off at this point. I have been burned by the vast majority of libertarian circles, and I've gone against the vast majority of Democrat and Republican circles already. Like, I am absolutely fucked. But I'd rather be, like, burned by everybody than sell out. I'm not going to be like a certain Ned and lose my head anyway, even after selling out. So, yeah. I'm ready to completely burn this motherfucker to the ground. And by this motherfucker, I mean my reputation. Because at this point, nobody's listening to me anyway, so I might as well just yell at him anyway. With very few exceptions, and thanks to those of you who are still here. It means an absolute fucking ton to me. And I'm going to try to make that worth it this year. So, with all that being said, looks like we're bellying up on an hour. So, I will get to fucking work, just like I've been promising for a long time. Because there's a lot of bridges to burn and a lot of people to burn down with them. So, with all that being said, smash the fucking state.